Welcome to the Success Pick and Mix podcast with me, Nikki Raby. I began this podcast in 2018 and I've produced over 400 episodes with an emphasis on dreaming and doing. But I know there is so much more to building a business and life that you love. It's definitely a work in progress. For the last 25 years, I've built a portfolio career as an actor, personal branding coach, writer, speaker, and podcaster. I love my pick and mix and curating my personal brand. I want to support you to create success on your terms. I've helped over 1,000 people to build a personal brand, and yes, I will be sharing with you business strategies around planning, packaging, presenting, and propelling your personal brand. But there is so much more to my work than that. I'm not interested in formulas, templates, or sleazy pants sales techniques. You know the ones. Instead, how would it feel to do things your way that align with your personality, circumstances, and goals? I'm going to be sharing conversations with some of my favorite people who are creating success on their terms to provide inspiration and encouragement. Also, there will be mini episodes where I take you behind the scenes, sharing how-tos, my coaching toolkit, chats about mindset, money, building momentum, and all through storytelling. After all, my clients have been known to call me the Queen of Analogies. So, thank you in advance for spending some time with me. Feel free to subscribe to be notified of the next episodes and follow across social media at Nikki Raby. You can catch up on previous episodes via my website, nikkiraby.com, and also pick and mix, if you like, from my freebie shop. Right, let's crack on and start today's episode. Hello. Welcome to a brand new episode. I am 40. Yes, I am. I am saying that aloud. I am claiming it. I am owning it. I am enjoying it. Thank you so much for so many messages that I received on Tuesday. It was so nice to hear from so many of you. And it was a great day. And it, of course, had all the bits in. It had a very lovely lunch and kind of lovely adult time. And then, of course, had to put tired, whingy children who'd had too much cake to bed, but it's all good. That is what life is about. Today also I'm going to go and have a meal with some other family members, which I'm really looking forward to. And yeah, I think this is what it's going to be this year. It's just going to be a year of celebrations and doing things and adventures. I was saying to Matt the other day, I was feeling a bit stuck at home. And of course, I know so many of us have been at home because of everything that's happened in the last couple of years and for safety reasons. But I also think in the last 6 years, I've never been at home more than I have in this time because I've had 2 small children and I'm really, really excited and curious about travel and adventure and doing things. And I feel like that's on the horizon. And actually, in terms of my inner circle and my friends and family, I didn't really see that many people on my actual day. And some of my pals were saying, I'm so sorry, I'm at work and I'm not going to see you. And I said, I'm actually thinking that my birthday, or I'm trying to see it as a marriage going forward. You know, I know some people go all out on a wedding, and then the day after they wake up and they go, oh my goodness, it's all over. What am I going to do? What's next? How do I make this happen? And actually, I always want it to be the other way. You know, of course, I want to have the lovely celebration, but I want to have that long lasting change or impact, all that good stuff. Today, I wanted to do a different podcast. And I wanted to share something that I guess has been on my mind of where I go next. And I often go through these phases every 6 months or so, where because I guess of the line of my work and my personality of always wanting to be sharp and connected and present and in my business, like really enjoying it, really cultivating it, I go often to a place, and this is why I'm sharing it, I guess, where I have to almost spill out what is on my mind, what's on my heart, what I feel I have to say, what I'm passionate about. And this scribble document, even though it's a document in my Google Drive at the moment, this first document often is the beginning or the seed of the next part. And I am definitely at a stage where I'm not going to do anything radical. I'm sort of doing more of the same, but I'm always looking to refine it and to go deeper and really ask myself those big questions of, what do I want to do? What is really exciting me? And as you'll see in a minute, it isn't about doing the other stuff that is on the internet. That is not my area of specialism. And so as you're listening to this, I am going to be asking you some questions as well. But I really want you to gift yourself this time of pressing pause on this podcast and asking yourself these questions as well. Because the internet is so noisy at the moment, especially, and I always feel it this time of year where people go into overdrive of like, you've got to do it before the end of the year. The world is ending. It has that kind of sense, you know, in a sort of like a Power Rangers film, like, come on, let's do it. And it's like, no, you've got time, mate. You've got time. So I just wanted to share what's on my heart. And if any of this resonates, please do get in touch with me and let's do something about it and your business. And a decade ago, when I started doing this work, I initially trained as a life coach. But before that, I was doing a lot of strategy work. So I was working alongside acting and everything else as an agent. And one of our areas of specialisms as agents was to ask that person where they were and where they wanted to get to, and then plot that journey of how they make that happen. And we saw the most amazing results from people who had just left drama school and then suddenly they were working with Spielberg, to people who became mainstream household names very, very quickly because they were the person to really step into that role. And it was interesting during that time as well to work with people who were big dreamers. And as I was plotting and working through this is what I'm really interested in. And I was saying this to Matt the other day, and he always laughs because, you know, whenever I'm at a wedding and he's, you know, or a family do or a night out, he will always say to me the next day, oh, I bet you found out some secrets. Like, oh, whose secrets have you got then? Because I am that person. I don't know why it is, but maybe over, you know, I'll start pouring somebody a glass of wine and then we'll be having a chat and then they'll suddenly turn to me and they'll say, actually I can't drink, I'm pregnant. Or, you know, I really want to start a business, or I'm thinking about leaving my job. What do you think? And there's all those sorts of things bubbling under the surface. And I feel really lucky that I've been privy to that. And the big dream doesn't necessarily have to be like, I'm going to be the best in the world, or I'm going to be Olympic champion, or I'm going to make £1 million by tomorrow. Sometimes the big dream is somebody stepping out from their norm or from their path, or taking the time to really listen to their heart. And instead of listening to that voice that goes, you can't do that, as if that's going to happen. What will you do? Why? What if you end up homeless? What if you don't have any love in your life? What if? All of that. Instead, those people who want to listen to that niggle and go, do you know what? I think I could do that. I mean, I don't have all the answers, but actually, I know how to do this bit. And, actually, I could phone my auntie's friend who she used to work. You see how the thought process works? And so that process, I guess, of willing to have a go is really exciting to me. Because I found that throughout my whole childhood, my whole teenage years, that for many of those years, I did not feel that I had the answers. And everything around me was being sort of said, and you almost don't really have the right to have the answers. Like, people like us don't really do that thing, or don't get ahead of yourself. And definitely not from my immediate family, but certainly in the wider vicinity, I was always told off for being too ambitious, or speaking my mind, or speaking my truth. And that was really interesting for me as a child, because I didn't know what I was saying was wrong or different. I know now it was probably different. I know now that it definitely wasn't wrong. And, you know, when my kids will say things to me, I mean, my eldest much more than my 2-year-old, but there's a sense sometimes where they say something with such intention and such passion, like, I really want to do this. And I see this as a role as a parent of like, gosh, I've got to take this seriously. Or sometimes one of my younger cousins will say it, or my godchildren, or a pal of mine, where suddenly they grip your hand and they look at you. And that is always a sign for me of like, right, okay, yeah, it's almost setting it in stone. Anyway, I'll read you this. This is what I wrote the other day when I was working through this process, and I invite you to do the same. This is all about making it real. I want to hear about your big dreams and the small ones. I want to know what you want to be, do, and have. How you want to spend your time. How you want to feel. How do you want to live and work and play? What part does money play? How do you want to create it? And then those little moments that you want to create, which may be meaningless to other people, but will make your heart sing and make you feel like you, that confirm to you, oh, this is what life's about. I want to ask you big questions that will illuminate what is important to you. I want to support you to find the answers, so you know how you can take the first step. It always, however many times I have done this, it always feels such an honor to be in that process with you, to be someone who will hold space for you, to remind you that you are important, so you can connect with what your version of success looks like. Where you are right now is absolutely perfect. You may have questions. You may want to make some changes, big or small. You may be ready for more of the good stuff, your definition. You may be ready for a new chapter. You may want to explore who you know you are meant to be, and then knock your own socks off. Now is the time to create your own pick and mix of life and business, to do things your way that suit your personality, goals, and circumstances, and ignore the rest. I often say at the end of my speaking gigs, if you only leave simply inspired, I've only done half a job. I want you to take some action, aka to go deeper, to experiment, to ask more questions, to be curious, to be courageous, to gift yourself with 30 minutes with a pen and paper and with no judgment, and just to see what comes. To send an email, to research actually how much it would cost, to try on your ideas and see if they fit, even if you don't believe that you're ready now. To be willing to have a go, to get it wrong, or start where you are right now, even if you don't know anything, or so you believe. Ultimately, to make some moves and not leave your hopes, dreams, desires to fester and go on the someday list that you created in a self-development class. That is, if you can find your original notes after they've been shoved in a drawer. I know I'm not the only one to do that. I want you to know that your version of business and life starts now, and you can create it. Feeling connected is one of my top values. I've never been the sort of person who wants to follow a blueprint set by somebody else. I don't have a desire to just tick boxes of what looks good on the outside and will be impressive to other people. It has to feel good. I am very ambitious in my work, but I also want to be connected in all areas of my life and with those that I love. Joining the dots of my responsibilities and values is important, so I feel good most of the time. And you know I always say it, when I feel good, I do good. I am open to evolving. I knew I didn't want a job which meant I sat in the same chair for 30 years, eating the same sandwiches. I want to be challenged, invigorated, and creative. I love that I can connect my passions and skills into a vibrant portfolio career, which surprises me daily and feels exciting. I welcome possibilities. So this piece of writing I've just shared now, I don't know if it's going to be my new about page. I don't know if it's going to stay in my journal and just stay there for a bit for me to refer back to. But that's where my head's at. Going forward, I am committed to always going deeper, to not just doing what other people do on the internet, to making it about you and your big dreams, and not promising that we can do this in 3 hours and then you never have to do it. It's always a work in progress. It's always going to be a muscle that you want to work and stretch and enjoy using. And my nana actually said this the other day. She phoned me on my birthday. She's 95. She's recently gone into a care home this year. And somebody had contracted COVID in her care home. And it was somebody who was 100 and she's at the other end of the building. And she said to me, I can't walk up and down the corridor at the moment. And actually, she's in really great physical shape. Her eyesight is a bit tricky. She's quite deaf, but generally she can walk really well and she's doing brilliantly. But what she did say was, I'm now doing leg exercises in my room because if you don't use them, you lose them. And I just thought that was so brilliant and such a great, simple reminder that those creative juices, those parts of you that bring all your good ideas, that make you feel juicy and like you, they have to be woken up. Otherwise, they'll just go to sleep. Otherwise, you'll just get busy. Otherwise, another year will just go by and your energy will be spent elsewhere. And usually your energy will be spent on something or somebody else. So all I ask you to do today is to listen and to think about what you want next and what your next chapter looks like. And take that pressure off yourself to have all the answers and the ideal solution and tick the box immediately. As I was saying to my mum the other day, sometimes a task has 7 stages and that task cannot be rushed. And each stage does absolutely need the time and the space that it needs. I really hope that you got something from today. And as always, thank you so much for listening. And you're welcome to leave a 5-star review if that is something you would like to do. I would also like to hear from you. Where are you going next? Do you want to have a free 15-minute session? Do you want to say what is on your mind out loud in a safe space? Because I tell you what, the amount of times when I hear from new clients of saying, I've never said that out loud before. So many of us are holding on to what we want and maybe ignoring it, maybe pushing it to the side. And I tell you what, 40 has done that for me. I don't have time to waste. I don't have time to assume that I'll do it someday. It's not going to happen unless I actually meet it halfway, unless I actually commit to it, unless I shove it to the top of my to-do list and grant it its importance. I also have a lovely surprise for you. You are welcome to access my goal setting course, which is 40% off. And I'm going to leave the secret birthday code down below if you would like to access that, and you'll get a whole 40% off it. So do check that out. But in the meantime, let me know what you gained from today's episode. Do screenshot it, share it across social media. I would absolutely love that. And I will see you very, very soon. Lots of love.